So the Milwaukee Bucks are your 2021 NBA champions. They defeated the Phoenix Suns in 6 games. And in today's video, I am going to be doing a series recap. Now, a quick disclaimer before this video starts is that this is not an analysis. I'm not going to be going in depth analyzing stuff. That is a whole separate video. This video would be like 40 minutes long if I put both of that in one video. This is just going game by game and just talking about like some stats and other stuff. So I predicted the Milwaukee Bucks in 7 games. I'm just gonna talk a little about my predictions before we get into the series recap. I predicted the Milwaukee Bucks in 7 games, and everyone I talked to said Phoenix. But I don't know, I just had this feeling about Milwaukee, and I was right. Like, nobody else I knew said Phoenix to Milwaukee. It was just me. But Milwaukee played great, and I'm just going to be recapping this series, talking about game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like going by some stats. So let's get started with game 1 in Phoenix, opening up the NBA Finals, and the Phoenix Suns take this game 118-105. And 13-point game isn't too bad, but the way the Suns played this game, they were always in control. The way the Bucks played, inefficient, terrible defense. The Suns look like the perfect team in these first 2 games. So taking a look at the Bucks side of things, Brook Lopez had 17 points, 6 rebounds, and he shot 50%, but 17 points. He played terrible defense. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 20 points, 17 rebounds. He had 2 steals and a block. He only took 11 shots that game, which is kind of weird. He shot 7 for 12 from the free throw line. So, in Giannis standards, it's pretty good. PJ Tucker, 7 points. Jrue Holiday, 10, 7, and 9. Not a very good stat line for a player that's been playing great this whole series. Or the whole playoff, sorry. And Chris Middleton stole the show in Game 1 for the Bucks. Yes, he was extremely inefficient, 12 for 26, and he had 5 turnovers. But, 29, 7, and 4. Good game for him. Bobby Portis, they really didn't play him a lot. Like, the Suns in this game, or the Bucks in this game, really had no shot. Like, you can see right here on the highlights. Look at that. Bobby Portis is on Chris Paul. Now, don't ask me why. Their big man, the Bucks' big man, were always on the Suns' guards. And I don't understand why. Like, it led to easy buckets, which is why when you turn to the Suns' side, Chris Paul was being guarded by Brook Lopez a lot. He had 32 points and 9 assists. And we see later in the series, when they switch up the matchups and put Holiday on him, we see how bad Chris Paul played. We also see DeAndre Ayton in this game, because if you're putting your center on your point guard, then you have a point guard on the center. So DeAndre Ayton also 22 points, 19 rebounds. Jay Crowder had 1 point. He shot 0 for 8 and 0 for 5 from three-point land. Mikal Bridges, 14 points. Devin Booker, 27. He looked great this game, was inefficient, 8 for 21. Cam Johnson hit a couple threes, 2 for 2. Oh, wait, no, never mind. He was actually 2 for 4. My bad. Devin Booker shot 1 for 8 from 3. But yeah, overall this game, there were great defense overall on both sides. But both teams, it led to inefficiency. Both teams were very inefficient. But the Suns looked like they look like the better team, especially with Chris Paul leading the way. And by now, you can see that Milwaukee's defense was a problem. Just the way that Chris Paul and Devin Booker scored with ease. And heading into Game 2, they didn't even fix that. They lost 118. Milwaukee Bucks lost 118-108. First game was 118-105. But yeah, 118-108. And this game was the exact same thing, except Milwaukee, shockingly, I didn't even think this could happen. They played worse. Also, if it looks like the highlights are a little fast, it's because I sped them up, so this video wouldn't be too long. But they played worse. Brook Lopez played worse. PJ Tucker played worse. Chris Middleton played terrible. 11 points on 5 for 16 shooting. Jrue Holiday also played terrible. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. He had two steals and 2 blocks, but 7 for 21. Pat Connaughton, 14 points. Bobby Portis, 2 points. And the only good player for the Bucks was Giannis. He mad carried this team. Yes, Chris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, they've had their moments, but Giannis really carried this team. It's unreal. 42 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 15 for 22. By the looks of it, he was like one of the only players that shot above 50%. Like PJ Tucker did, but he only took 5 shots. Bobby Portis only took 2 shots. And yeah, you could see that Milwaukee, Giannis in general, really carried this team. He shot 11 for 18 from the free throw line. And looking at the Suns played great this game. They were not inefficient. Just overall, the main thing that showed up was their three-point shooting. They had many threes. Like DeAndre Ayton, no threes. He's a big man, it's fine. Chris Paul had 3 threes. Mikal Bridges had 3. Jay Crowder had 3. Booker had 7. Cam Johnson had 2. Torrey Craig had 2. So the Suns just shot a lot of threes. Chris Paul, again, because this game was when Brook Lopez was on Chris Paul a lot. Yes, Holiday was on a bit more than game 1. But just overall, Chris Paul, Devin Booker were still scoring with ease. Devin Booker had a great game, 31 points on 12 for 25 shooting. And Chris Paul, 23 points, 8 assists. Mikal Bridges also had a great game because Mikal Bridges was kind of just in the corner on the offensive end, just shooting the catch-and-shoot threes. He had 27 points. Now, I don't know if that's a career high for him or what, but great game for him. Jay Crowder really stepped up from 1 point to 11 points. He also had 10 rebounds. And Cam Johnson, 8 points. He also had 2 threes. And overall, the Phoenix Suns just dominated this game again. I know 10 points isn't something like really, it's not really that much of a blowout, but just the way the Suns played, they really showed that they're the dominant team. And now heading into Milwaukee, the Suns are up 2-0. I think I saw the stat that like 80% of teams that are up 2-0 go on to win the series. So this is looking really good for the Suns. They have the momentum heading into Milwaukee. And that's when things change. As they're heading into Milwaukee, they lose bad. 120-100. I think that was the biggest blowout of the playoffs by 20 points of the finals. Yeah. They lost by 20 points because these last 3 games were close, but they lost by 20 points. 120-100. And yeah, Phoenix just played really sloppy, especially when it came to the turnovers. They got a lot of turnovers. Ayton with 5. Oh, never mind. Ayton with 2. Chris Paul with 4. Bridges with 4. And then like Booker, Cam Johnson, Kaminsky, and they all had 1 turnover. So for the Suns, DeAndre Ayton still had an okay game. 18 points, 9 rebounds. Chris Paul, 19 points, 9 rebounds. He also had 4 turnovers. Again, at this point, we realized that home court really matters. Like now, both these teams have won all their games at home, and all these games looked one-sided. One team came in hot, and the other team came in cold, and it seemed like this happened for the first 3 games, every single game. Devin Booker, only 10 points. Yes, he only played 29 minutes opposed to his 30-something per game. 10 points, 6 rebounds. But just overall, not a very good game. 3 for 14. If he had played the second half, he would have been shooting 6 for 28. So, it's not very good. The Suns had 5 players in double figures, but the highest was 19 with Chris Paul. And overall, Mikal Bridges only 4 points. That's not a good way to come off your 27-point game, probably your career high. But yeah, the Phoenix Suns just didn't have it today in this game. I'm not sure why. And for the Bucks, they still weren't even better, honestly. Chris Middleton stepped up his efficiency. He still shot under 50%. He shot 42%, almost 43%. He shot 6 for 14, 18 points. Giannis, back-to-back 40-point games. This was when he made history. Devin Booker also made history. I'll get to that later. 41-13 for Giannis. Jrue Holiday, 21 points, a good game. Bobby Portis finally played good backup minutes, and he got 11 points and 8 rebounds, But yeah, overall, in these 3 games, there was really nothing special about the way these teams played. Their defenses were both great, yes, but it led to inefficiency and always one-sided. And these 3 games were not very fun whatsoever. By now, the series is 2-1. And heading into Game 4 now. So, in Game 4, we finally have our first close game. This was the Giannis block on DeAndre Ayton when he got that nice block to disrupt the alley-oop. And Milwaukee ended up winning this game 109-103. Our finally close game, and it was a pretty close game until the end when Phoenix started to foul. And then Milwaukee just started making free throws. This was when Devin Booker he went off. He carried. He really reminded me of when the Suns were terrible a couple years back, and he would have to score 30, 40 every game just to make it a relatively close game. Chris Paul, terrible this game. 10 points, 7 assists, 5 turnovers, and a lot of them were in the clutch, so that sucks for him. Jay Crowder had 15 points. DeAndre Ayton only 6 points, 17 rebounds. Mikal Bridges 7 points. Jay Crowder 15, Cam Johnson 10. But they really played bad. The Suns just as a team, terrible aside from Devin Booker. They just played terrible. Their chemistry was off. They were turning the ball over. And they were relatively inefficient. Like aside from Booker, they were very inefficient. And for the Bucks, Chris Middleton, we know this game. He had a great game. At this point, he's officially the closer of games. 40 points on 15 for 33 shooting. So he still shot under 50%. But it's fine. 45% on 40 points is fine. Giannis, 26 and 14. He also had 8 assists this game. Was really starting to play make, passing to Middleton. PJ Tucker, 0 points. Your starter can't have 0 points. Jrue Holiday, 13, 7 and 7. 3 steals. Inefficient, 4 for 21. But yeah, Giannis was not taking a lot of shots in these games, I'm noticing now. Pat Connaughton, 11. Bobby Portis, only 3 points. But yeah, I'm noticing Giannis isn't really taking a lot of shots in these first 4 games. But yeah, the Bucks played great. And other than Middleton's 40-point game, there's no stat line that really stands out. Obviously, Giannis had a good stat line. But the series is tied 2-2. And as we're heading into Game 5 in Phoenix, we think Milwaukee has the momentum. But Phoenix had the momentum heading into Milwaukee, and they lost both games. So the same thing could happen, and Phoenix could win in Phoenix, even though Milwaukee has momentum. It's going to be hard, especially when Giannis just came off back-to-back 40-point games, and Chris Middleton just came off 40-point games. So 3 games in a row, the Bucks had someone score 40 points. It was going to be hard for Phoenix, and Phoenix made it really close, but in Game 5, we all know what happened. This was the Jrue Holiday strips Booker and throws that really nice lob to Giannis. I really love that play. That was a very special play. Jrue Holiday finally had a good game. 27 points, 4 rebounds, 13 assists. He shot 12 for 20, so efficient. Chris Middleton, he finally shot over 50%. He had 29 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 12 for 23. Giannis, 32, 9 and 6. PJ Tucker, 3 points. Pat Connaughton, 14. Brook Lopez, 9. And Chris Middleton is kind of a controversial topic because if you look at his stats, just like alone without anything else, you look at his points, rebounds, and assists, 29, 7, and 5 is very good. Like if you average that, you're an all-star. You're an all-NBA player. But his efficiency, he had 4 turnovers, just all that stuff plays into it. And Chris Paul is another guy I'm going to talk about. He played very, very bad in these later games. He had 1 turnover this game, but the game before, I think he had like 5 or something. Just going to check right now. Yeah, he had 5 turnovers. I think the game before he had like 6 or something. So Chris Paul, I don't know if it was the pressure or what, but he's like Chris Middleton. The stats, you look at him, 21, 2, and 11, that's pretty good. But actually no, he wasn't inefficient, 9 for 15, sorry, my bad. But just, he was very reckless with the ball these last 4 games. And I just don't know what happened to the Suns. Like, someone took their talent. Like the Monsters from Space Jam. They took their talent. But I don't know, Phoenix played amazing the first 2 games, and they just fell apart these last 4 games. Devin Booker still 40 points, back-to-back 40 points, and I think this was the game where Booker broke the record. He passed Kobe on most points in your first playoff run with 522. DeAndre Ayton had 20 and 10. It's a good comeback from 6 points. Jay Crowder 10. Mikal Bridges 13. But yeah, overall Milwaukee looked like the dominant team, but it was pretty close. Giannis missed a lot of clutch free throws in this game. He shot 4 for 11 from the free throw line. Not very good. But yeah, this was a very good game. And I forget what I said about Milwaukee being the dominant team. The first 4 games, or the first 3 games, were all one-sided. But these last 3 games were very close, and it could have went to either team. It just really sucks about Chris Paul. Like, he should have... If he had stepped up more, the Suns would have won. But he lost lots of clutch turnovers. There's the lob. Wow, what a lob. But yeah, he had a lot of clutch turnovers that could have sealed some games. But in the end, we're moving on to Game 6 where Milwaukee wins the series. Now, this is the 3rd series in a row I was just watching. As I was watching the game yesterday, I'm like, if Milwaukee wins, they won in 6. Last year, the Lakers won in 6. Year before, the Raptors won in 6. So this is the 3rd year in a row the finals went to 6 games. And we all know what this game was. This was the best game, not in playoff history because like Michael Jordan's 55-point game or something like that in finals history. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks. I think he was like the first player or something to have 50, 10, and 5 blocks. And yeah, Giannis just really showed his dominance. He is extremely dominant in this playoffs, and I knew that was going to happen. I didn't worry too much about his injury because people weren't playing it out to be too serious, and I knew he would come back like this and be dominant. And I was right. I predicted the Bucks winning this, so... Chris Middleton only had 17 points. Like, you can look at these stats, and, like, 2 players that played over 20 minutes had 0 points. Tucker and Connaughton. Jrue Holiday, almost a triple-double. I'll let it slide. 12 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists with 4 steals. 4 for 19, though. The inefficiency strikes again. Because the thing is, if you have 2 top 5 defenses, your star players are getting clamped up. And that leads to your star players missing shots. And overall, just as a team, it just leads to inefficiency. And this was still a very good series to watch, but there were just a lot more misses in the finals than recent finals. It was still a very good one. It was fun watching 2 small market teams go at it. And yeah, Brook Lopez 10 points, Chris Middleton 17. And moving to the Suns side, Chris Paul, he had 3 turnovers. Like, look, let's take a look at Chris Paul's stats and turnovers in the finals. 3, 1, 5, 4, 6, 2. And in the regular season, he averaged 2 turnovers. So, Chris Paul really underperformed in the finals. Devin Booker, for the most part, played good. This game, he had 19 points on 8 for 22 shooting. And Jay Crowder had 8, 15, and 13. DeAndre Ayton had 12 and 6. And I think the last notable one is Cameron Payne with 10 points. But yeah, Milwaukee takes this first NBA title in 50 years. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, Kareem. Last time they won was with Kareem. But it makes me really happy to hear that Milwaukee won because we know when Giannis was going to be a free agent this year, everyone thought he would go to a super team, join the Warriors, join the Raptors, join whatever, and pair up with another star. Imagine if he went to the Warriors. That would have been a guaranteed title. But no, he stuck it out, stayed loyal to Milwaukee, and in just a matter of 1 year, he defeated a super team, showed that loyalty still exists in the NBA, and won a championship. And yes, it was other pieces too, like Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton played a big part. But I'm just really happy for Giannis. Like, the way he's loyal and the loyalty stays, the loyalty really paid off. Yeah, it just makes me really happy to see Giannis getting a well-deserved ring. Like, I think he deserved it more than the Nets if they had a one. Like, he defeated the super team Nets. He just showed that he didn't need a super team. He said in an interview that he could have done the easy way, signed with a super team and just won a chip. But he said, no, I'm going to do it the hard way. And it paid off. So the Milwaukee Bucks are your defending NBA champions. But that's going to wrap up my video, guys. Remember, if you think this was very lack of detail, then don't worry because I have a video coming out very soon where I'll be talking about my takes. Now, I have a lot of takes, and I couldn't incorporate it to this video because it was too long. So that's going to wrap up my video, guys. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos. Be sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2021. I think we can do it. We're almost halfway through 2021. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video.